Howdy Tabletop RPG fans, I'm Wrangleme, Grand Poobah of Game Design, and this Review's Day topic is Grimtooth Traps. Stay tuned to the very end to hear about my own tips for traps. Grimtooth Traps is a series of 7 splat books by Flying Buffalo Games, the same folks that published Tunnels and Trolls and Nuclear War, with contributions like Paul Ryan O'Connor, Rick Loomis, Pat Mueller, Liz Danforth, Michael Stackpool, Jeff D., Deborah Wickel, Scott Jackson, Jim Bear Peters, Michael Von Glahn, and many other contributors over the years. But it was the blood, sweat, and tears of Stephen S. Crompton that unified the series as he continued to work on it with Goodman Games still. It is his incredible artwork, devious ingenuity, and the humorous depictions of Grimtooth and later Grimtina that the fans all love. Like all the world's monsters, fans submitted their most diabolical traps to be included in the next Grimtooth splat book. As much as players tremble when they hear about the Tomb of Horrors or the Temple of Elemental Evil or the Curse of Strahd or even that look when the DM smiles, just knowing that the DM had a copy of Grimtooth's traps was enough to terrify players and put them on alert. The 7 books included Grimtooth Traps, 1981, Grimtooth Traps 2, 1982, Grimtooth Traps 4, 1986, Grimtooth Traps Bizarre, 1994, Grimtooth Traps 8, 1989, Grimtooth Traps Light, 1992, and Grimtooth Traps Dungeons of Doom. Grimtooth's Dungeon of Doom, 1992. This is an overview of the kinds of things that you can find in each of the 7 Grimtooth Traps books. The difficulty of each trap was ranked in skulls, 1 for easy and mostly non-lethal, up to 5 skulls for really deadly. Contents typically included room traps, corridor traps, door traps, item and artifact traps, thing traps, and each book had a special 101st or 102nd trap as a running gag. Bazaar includes dungeon equipment, more beast cellars, custom corner, infernal machines, Grimtina's fashions to die for, bargain basement, and finally maps of the various levels of the bazaar with a price list. Light included the typical list of traps, just much less deadly. Dungeon of Doom includes a background covering the tomb of Evinrude the Water Wizard, mechanics and rules for running the dungeon, maps of the interior and exterior, and the entrance and 58 numbered traps, followed by a conclusion of sorts. Grimtooth's Beyond Flying Buffalo. At Origins 1983, an unlicensed 12-page knockoff appeared called Grimtooth Slayer and was republished by Goodman Games in 2019. In 2005, Necromancer Games owned Sword and Sorcery Studios published The Worst of Grimtooth's Traps for D20, collecting some of the best previous books into one hardbound book over 200 pages. Goodman Games also published Grimtooth's Ultimate Traps Collection, with all previous 7 books collected into a deluxe edition, Grimtooth's Trapsylvania Setting Book, Grimtooth's Tomb of the Warhammer Adventure, Grimtooth's Museum of Death Adventure, all for Dungeon Crawl Classics. The photo is the late Rick Loomis, founder of Flying Buffalo, with Joseph Goodman, founder of Goodman Games. Wrangleme's Trap Tips. The very idea of death traps can be against some players' gaming style. They want to make tactical choices and solve problems using their ingenuity. The idea that their characters could die because of a random trap roll and a failed saving throw seems like the antithesis of epic adventure. Your mileage may vary, but I disagree. I've been inspired by these Grimtooth Traps books for over 40 years. I don't make the results deadly. I always allow for multiple solutions so that players can feel clever when they shout out a solution that works. Characters will get into perilous situations and then solve these predicaments using teamwork and cooperation to rescue trapped characters. The trap can advance a ticking clock, expend resources, expose weaknesses, and generally make the players recognize that their characters are not all powerful. Even the idea of a death trap gives hope of escape. Just let it take as long as it needs for the players to discover a solution. If they become panicked or frustrated, provide some simple clues to the characters that should recognize the solution. And if all else fails, allow serendipity, deus ex machina, or just plain luck to turn in the character's favor. Don't let the players know this, but I rarely let the player characters die in one of my death traps. The players will kill themselves soon enough by being overconfident and careless in some moment of glory. Use trap encounters to punctuate the evilness of your villains without actually exposing the characters or the villain to a battle. Thank you all for watching this episode. Hit like, subscribe, or ring the bell, or Booger will get you. If you want to see more videos like this, go to hopspush.com and buy an RPG or t-shirt. Do good, annoy evil, and bye-bye.